Hi folks, welcome to We the People once again. I'm Dave Gallus, your host, and as you may see behind me, I'm running for New Mexico State Senate in District 37, which comprises the area between I-25 and the Oregon Mountains, basically south from University Avenue, including Talavera, all the way north past Radium Springs. So what I'm trying to do is bring in people to support my platforms and to explain the same way I believe about certain subjects. Today's subject, well, my platforms are education, jobs, family, and security. Today we're going to talk about family. The most basic part of a family is the child, as far as I'm concerned. We happen to have an expert with us today, Ethel Maharg, and Ethel is the Executive Director for Right to Life Committee of New Mexico. So, Ethel is, I'm going to let Ethel tell her story. Ethel, welcome to the show.
Oh, thank you, Dave.
Thank you for being here. And why don't you give us a little bit of bio about yourself?
Okay. All right. I'm, well, I was born in Cuba. Just kidding.
Not that far back,
I know,
Ethel.
I know. No, I'm actually a native of New Mexican, and I'm one of 7 kids. And I went to school, went to University of New Mexico, then University of Phoenix. Got my degree in business administration. Okay. I have been married to my husband for 36 years.
Wow.
I have 6 grandchildren, and now I'm the executive director of Right to Life.
You were also the mayor.
Oh, I was. I forgot
of Cuba, New Mexico.
Yes, I was.
Okay.
I served there for about 10 years in office.
Wow.
So
you were a public servant
yes,
from way back.
Way back. And I also taught school. I ran banks. Just a whole lot of other things. I threw tires, believe it, lots of different things. Do whatever.
So you're
paid the
physical
bills.
as well.
Whatever it takes,
Okay.
you know. Yeah,
Okay.
just to pay the bills, and so did that. I've also my biggest dream was to be Zig Ziglar when I grew up. That means I want to be a public speaker.
Okay.
I love to speak, write. I've co-authored two books,
Okay.
and so I still love writing, and this position is for me that.
What are the 2 books you've authored?
Oh, the first one is the Unstoppable Woman's Guide to Emotional Well-Being.
You hear that, folks? All right, ladies. Unstoppable Woman. Okay.
Yes, and it was a compilation. My chapter was on fear, and it actually plays into a lot of my story. We'll tell you about that later.
Sure.
And then the other one was called The Unstoppable Entrepreneur. Wow. And I wrote how to be a shameless self-promoter. And so actually I interviewed people.
You seem so gentle to me. I don't know about shameless, but okay. Okay, so we're here talking about life. I am always going to come down on the side of life. And I do not want to judge a woman. I will never judge a woman. But I want to support women that feel as though they're in crisis. So, Ethel, you have a fantastic story. So why don't you just go ahead and jump into that?
Okay. Well, I was northern New Mexico, and while I was there, my dad was the mayor of the village of Cuba also. I followed in his footsteps, if you will. And then I came to university. I went to college. And while I was there, I met a young man, and we started dating and then became engaged. And then the next thing you know, I find I'm pregnant.
That happens.
It happens, yes. And his dad was a judge, a district judge. And we just looked at each other and go, oh my goodness, it was the era. Yeah, we're like, this will just ruin our families.
Yeah.
Right. And so my fiance at the time said, if you don't have an abortion, there will be no marriage.
So he did not support you. He forced you.
He applied pressure. I think, as I look back, I think he was afraid, just like everybody. So he applied some pressure and maybe not knowing what I wanted to do. And so I went ahead and I went through the abortion, and it devastated me. I never got over it. We did get married sometime after that, but I couldn't. It ruined our marriage. Basically, he said to me, he says, "You love that baby more than you love me." And
do you have to choose? I mean,
yeah,
that's so sad.
Yeah.
And I've heard of parents that didn't know that their daughter was pregnant. She had the abortion, and when they found out, they said, we would have helped with the baby. Right. We would have taken care of the baby. We would have allowed you to go to school or continue your career. It's like, holy smoke. Right. It's all about education, I think,
is.
and
really
support.
Is.
There's so much support out there. But I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's okay. I think that if somebody come along, the other part was I had my best friend. I went to her, and she just walked out on me. So there, I felt like I was totally alone, nobody to help me. And so, again, that's part of it, just that isolation, feeling like I didn't have any other choice. Not knowing, and now I know so much. Pregnancy centers, had I known of one, had I been able to go to one, the story could have been different.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but here in Las Cruces we have Turning Point. They even have a father's room in there. I've been in that room, that it's so welcoming. And they will help financially, they will help emotionally, they help spiritually. And you have CareNet, which is also heavily involved, and there's Showers of Grace. There's so much support out there.
Yes.
If the girls understood what the possibilities are. But I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, that's fine. And that's good. I really love pregnancy centers. I fight for pregnancy centers because I know how valuable they are. And they save the government, basically, if you will, taxpayer dollars, because everything they do is free. It's free to the clients. Yes. It's donor supported. You and I give our money so that they can have everything that they need. So they are such a great resource.
And there's a deception too. Listen, folks, you hear the word Planned Parenthood, which is an abortion industry.
Right.
And you have pregnancy centers, which are support systems for mothers. It's like, don't be fooled by the wording.
No, it isn't. And that's the key about them. They are masters at using language. And so I always say about Planned Parenthood, I said, nothing is further from the truth. They have no intention of you planning to be a parent.
No, it's planned abortion, planned death.
They are for
and it's a money-making operation.
Absolutely.
And that money fosters the election of people that support Planned Parenthood.
Yes.
So there's a lot of money going from Planned Parenthood against the fellow that I'm running against.
Absolutely, yes.
Or for the fellow that I'm running against.
Absolutely. He's endorsed by Planned Parenthood. And they each, I have a voter guide here. It's actually our endorsement sheet. We just finished it. And I see your candidate, and I have a voting record also. I carry it with me. And I see him on there.
How did he vote on HB 51?
He voted against life.
He voted against life.
Yes, he did. He sure did.
That's not surprised. Bill Soules voted against life. Dave Gallus will always vote for life.
For life, yes. So I got this. I've got the representatives on the other side. So I know how they voted. I was there. Okay. I watched it all happen.
Okay.
So,
Now we did have, I believe it was 6 senators that
voted. We had 8
senators. And how many in the House that?
On that one, you know what? I don't have the exact
number. Well, let's just stick with the senators. But there were 8 senators that were Democrat that voted for life.
Right.
And
I should have this right here.
And
it was defeated.
Most of them were primaried out in this past election.
Right.
Primary because our governor did not want them to be reelected. So they put the pressure on, brought in people that would vote for death, for abortion.
Right.
So they took out Mary Kay Papin, John Arthur Smith, and quite a few others.
Gabe Ramos.
They had the courage to stand up, even though they were Democrats and they were taken out of office by the Democratic Party.
Right. They knew that it was probably going to cost them.
I applaud those folks. I really do.
I do too. I wrote a piece for you and you saw it, and I just told you that after that happened in that primary, I sat and I cried for about a week. And because it was so sad to me. I mean, I saw these champions and they took them out. So they are heroes.
They are.
I want everybody to know that they are heroes.
And we applaud them.
Yes, we applaud them. You know what? We're going to vindicate them because we're going to take those seats back. How about that?
Sounds good to me.
Yeah, I think that we need to take those seats back.
Okay.
And I think we have a pretty good chance of doing that.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. So we lost 5 of the 7 remaining. We lost Senator Cisneros. He had passed away prior to.
Yes.
But we did lose 5. We have 2 remaining. Senator Pete Campos and Senator Munoz are still there. And they're
still standing.
They're still standing.
That's good. Well, we like them. I invited the ones that were primaried. I said, you're always welcome to join the Republican Party because that seems like where your ideology is.
Right.
And many people, there's so many people that are registered Democrats, and I have a lot of Democratic friends, but they have to move away from the party. We had one of our county commissioners, Isabel Solis, who said, I can no longer follow this party. You're promoting death. I'm promoting life. She had to leave, so she's a Republican now running for a House seat.
Right, she is.
Yes, she's my hero.
Yes, I'm proud of her.
And she lost a paying job as a county commissioner, and now she's going to work for nothing like us in Santa Fe. All they do is give you money for going to Santa Fe and coming back, and that's it.
That's it.
So, but we're working from the heart.
Right, it is, and you'll be rewarded for that. And once we turn the state around, I'll tell you what, I think that there'll be big rewards in the state in so many areas. Once we do that, once we turn everything around, I think it'll make a big difference.
We'll have businesses coming in. I look at Texas as a success story in businesses. Their governor solicits businesses from California, New York, or wherever. not New Mexico.
Yeah, no.
And once we have good education, which we do not have now, we're the worst state in the union.
We are.
My opponent is the top legislator in education, and we're the worst state in the union.
We are 51st. Can you believe that? I
Well,
said, how do you do that?
DC. I think that's how they do it. I know. I know I can do better than that.
Yeah.
And I believe in school choice.
Right.
Give the money to the parents, let them choose where their kids go to school. Because it hurts the rich families because they have to pay out extra to send their kids to a private school. And it really hurts the poor people because they can't afford to get out of the monopoly of the public school system.
Right, actually.
So I'm sorry.
Yeah, no worries. Actually, we're talking more about education choice. Because let people educate how they see fit, and then they can get the tax breaks the school's getting.
Absolutely.
For every child, they get so much money. They shouldn't get it.
And it goes for abortion as well.
It's
educating the young women and the young men as to what the options are. So can I ask you a few questions?
Sure.
Okay. Why do women have abortions?
Fear. It's basically fear, and it's their circumstances. And I saw that in the pregnancy center. I worked for CareNet Pregnancy Center for 5 years, so I love them.
In Albuquerque.
Yes, in Albuquerque.
Okay. Mm-hmm.
And we saw they come in, and we call it the pregnancy tornado. And when they would come in, they were freaked out, not knowing what in the heck am I going to do. And so we would go through and we'd say, tell me what's going on. We just loved them through it, and I want to dispel the lies that they tell, that they force them to keep their babies. That's not true at all. We have one in particular, I always tell this story. She came in and she said, I want an abortion and don't try to stop me. We're like, okay, fill out your paperwork. We're going to go back to the room. So we would take her there and we would discuss, tell us what's going on. Tell us what's really going on. And so they would just tell all their story, oftentimes through a lot of tears. And it really wasn't the pregnancy, it was the circumstance that they were in. And oftentimes it was money, oftentimes it was pressure from a spouse or a boyfriend or a parent, or just the fear of the unknown, not knowing. Okay, so the thing is, we did everything to let them know that they weren't alone. And pregnancy centers also, they provided free resources. They're called pregnancy resource centers because they help them all the way through the child is 3 years of age.
That's amazing.
It is. Formula, diapers.
Through 3 years of age?
3 years of age.
Holy smokes.
Yeah. Formula, diapers, gently used clothing. We would make sure they had nice little clothing and whatever they had, whatever they needed.
Wow.
But they had to enroll in classes, parenting classes. So they were enriched intellectually as well and emotionally. And if they wanted a spiritual aspect of it, they could participate in a study. No one was ever forced to do that, but if they wanted to, they could have a Bible study. So they were just loved through the entire process.
So this girl that came in, the tornado, how was it when she says, I want an abortion, you're not talking me out of it? How did that go?
Well, I'll tell you the end story.
Okay.
She walked in from the hospital, straight to the from the hospital to the center to show us her baby girl.
No kidding.
Yeah. We just loved on her. We just told her she was fully able. She was wanting to go to nursing school. We told her, you can, and we're here. You're fully capable of doing that. See, the other side will do this, Dave. They'll say, oh my gosh, you can't finish that education. You can't become, you'll never be able to have that business. You'll never be able. They paint such a bleak picture. Right. And during this pandemic, they really took advantage of this. And what they would do is the governor said that abortion was essential services.
I know. I heard that. I couldn't believe it. We can't go to church.
Can't go to church.
But an abortion is essential service.
Right.
She should have been struck with lightning at that moment. Well, we're gonna take a short break here, and then we'll come back and we will solve the problems that we have here.
Okay, sounds good.
Okay, Ethel. Stay tuned, folks. We'll be right back with Ethel Maharg.
Horizon Granite is here. We'll come to you to customize your kitchen and bathroom with beautiful countertops and cabinets. Find out more at horizongranite.com. Call us at 575-650-3180.
Horizon Granite is here.
It's here.
Make yourself a beautiful home.
Hi, I'm Ray Bamberg with Here on Earth. I would like to invite you for a free hearing evaluation to our office. We've been here in southern New Mexico for 34 years helping people hear better.
They've stormed beaches and freed countries. They've raised our flag and our hope. They've been called leathernecks. They've been called devil dogs. But above all, they're called Marines.
Hi folks, welcome back to We the People. I'm Dave Gallus. I'm running for New Mexico State Senate, and I'm trying to fix all the problems we have here in New Mexico. The one problem I want to fix is the right to life, to bring our babies into the world. And it's not about judgment. It's all about supporting the women that feel as though they're in crisis and their only option is abortion. We're here with Ethel Maharg, who is the Executive Director of Right to Life Committee in New Mexico. So Ethel, welcome back.
Thank you.
We got a lot of information, but I got 1,000,001 questions, and you've answered some of them. What are some of the symptoms women experience after abortion?
Okay. Well, I brought a little sheet. I'll give you a copy. And I'm going to touch on just a few. One of them is they have an 86% increased tendency toward rage. You wonder where there's road rage. And see, the thing is that this is both women and the men.
Huh?
So they become more violent in different situations, which accounts for they often will go into another relationship that is violent. Case in point, me. That happened to me too. Okay, so you become more violent and you have more rage. You also, they have increased 56% experience suicidal thoughts. 53% begin or increase drug abuse.
Wow.
So it's a really bad, vicious cycle.
Well,
for
you know,
people.
I see a lot of angry women out there.
Yeah.
Could it be that they feel as though they were forced into doing something they didn't want by maybe a man or by some other pressure that they felt?
Well, it could be. But the point is this: even if they went through it, they've suffered a loss, even if they don't realize that.
Yeah,
see, I wish I
right.
could tell you more because, see, the thing is, I was a really big mess, and I didn't even realize that I was.
Okay.
I can now look at somebody and go, wow, I know somebody right now
Right.
that is in that state of crisis but won't get help. And she's angry, she's just explosive and things like this. I'm going, wow. So I remember when I finally went through the ministry, the healing ministry of a CareNet,
Right.
my boss told me, she says, Ethel, your countenance has changed.
Ah.
That's how, because what happens is you get stuck in the cycle of grief. One of the cycles of grief is anger, but you can't get out of that. And you don't know how to get out of that.
Right.
So you experience craziness. Like, I was pretty intense. I mean, here I was, the mayor of Cuba. I was very productive. I'm kind of type A anyway, but I was on steroids, and I made people crazy.
Right.
You know, I just wouldn't, and I didn't realize that it was a coping mechanism for me.
Right.
I was busy, not to think about it.
Right,
Didn't
right.
realize
Well, you
that.
were telling me, I think, women experience PTSD at the thought of being pregnant, at being pregnant.
No, not, if they when an abortion,
Yes.
not the thought of being pregnant, but an abortion causes PTSD.
Okay.
We were talking about rape, which
Okay.
that
Oh,
causes
that's
PTSD.
right, that's right,
Okay,
that's
so
right.
so we don't want to expose them to a double dose of
Right.
that.
So, okay. So, I see what you're
So
mean.
there's
Okay.
lots of symptoms. There's like a list of about 10
Sure.
on here. So if people want this brochure, we'd be glad to give it to them.
Well,
Because
folks, you have Ethel's information that you can contact her, and she has the email address that
Right.
you can get a hold of her.
yeah, absolutely.
So, okay.
Yeah, so we can do that.
Let's see. Why would you come forward, and why do you fight so hard?
You know, I've been forgiven much. And so those of us that have gone there, I believe that it's our duty to tell others. Plus, Dave, I don't want anybody to ever experience what I had to go through. You know, and the thing is, I was locked in a prison for 37 years. I didn't talk about it at all, ever. I didn't want anybody to know. My husband knew because I didn't let him marry me until he knew that. If he loved me, he would accept that about me. So I did not want anybody to know about that at all. I was going to go to my grave with that secret.
And yet you're...
And yet here I am. But let me tell you, God, I always say, but God, when my boss told me, as the client services director, she says, you're going to have to go through this class, to know what women feel like if they experience abortion. And then she dared to ask me that question, have you ever? And I'm like, oh my God.
Oh boy, you're
I wanted
exposed now.
to die. I just wanted to die when she said that. And I said, you're only the second person to know. But you know what? That changed my entire life. And when I got through, I was mad. I thought, in a different way. I was mad for a different reason. I thought, I was in prison for 37 years, and I'm going to do everything I can to see to it that nobody has to go through what I went through. I'm going to fight for life, fight for women, fight for men, because they deserve to know the truth. And you know what? If they're locked in this prison, they're going around in there, and they're angry, they deserve to know that there's an answer. And so I want them to know that there is forgiveness. There's restoration.
Yeah.
So they should know, and that's why I fight. I fight, and you know what? I am going to see to it that there is an end to abortion in this state.
Well, when they say men are tough, well, who better to tell the story than someone's been through it? So I really appreciate it for what you're saying. Wow. Well, folks, you're hearing it firsthand here. Okay, let's see, what else do I have? Planned Parenthood. Wow. Big money-making operation.
Right. Yeah.
And endorsing candidates.
Right. 350,000 just right here.
They will not be endorsing me.
No, they won't.
No, guaranteed. But they will be endorsing my opponent, Bill
Right.
Soules. So, folks, keep that in mind. If you are pro-life, and it's not about judgment, it's about supporting the women that are in crisis. So,
Right.
okay, and we talked about the defeat of HB 51 and our heroes, Democrats,
Right.
that voted for life,
Right.
who are now no longer with us because our governor said, didn't she say that as soon as she gets in office, she'll sign HB 51?
Exactly. She said, you bring me that bill and I'll sign it.
That's an angry woman that probably
is.
has had some issues in her life.
Who knows? You never know.
Oh.
So, you know what, though, but God was good.
Oh, and God
He
is
gave us the
powerful.
victory, yes. He gave
Okay, do you think the tide is turning?
I do.
All right, I do too.
I do. We saw during HB 51, when all that was taking place, we probably thought we had a snowball's chance of getting through that bill. Then we got a gift. It was called New York and Virginia, and they lit up the sky saying they wanted to be the abortion capital. People were angry. We're going, hey, we've been doing this here for a decade. We've been trying to tell you, but we said, hey, we're glad you're awake. Let's go. So we began just beating the drum, and they answered. And people from all over the state responded, and they showed up for rally after rally after rally, two of them in the snow. I was so proud of our New Mexicans. They went, Mark Cavalier from here made
Mark's
a trip
my
from
hero.
here, went over there in the snow for this rally, and people are standing behind life. And I'm going to tell you, this right here, this endorsement list, you're going to see a lot of red because there's a lot of Planned Parenthood.
And the red is bad.
Red
The
is
Planned
bad.
Parenthood.
Red is bad. In this
Okay.
case, is bad. Yeah. If they vote bold black, we will go red.
Okay, the bold black is
Bold
all
black.
the people of pro-life.
Right, pro-life.
Okay.
So if they have any questions, I want to know about that. But the red is Planned
Is
Parenthood.
this on a website anywhere?
It is. It's on our website, rtlnm.org.
RTLM, Right to Life
NM.org.
Okay, that's a website.
Yes.
Oh, I thought that was an email address.
Yeah.
Okay, Right to Life.
But if they email me, if they didn't get that,
Okay.
we'll send them this
Okay,
document.
that's great. So,
Yeah.
folks, you know who to vote for if you're pro-life. And I certainly hope you are.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see what else we have here. Okay. What do you tell a woman that's considering abortion?
You know what? You can do this. We just tell them, you can do this. Once we find out what the really issue is,
Right.
we just love them through it. Say, you know what? Please don't go where I went. Please. It is a decision you will regret. You'll wake up one day and regret what decision you made. And you know what? There are resources available to you. And if all else fails and you really feel like you just can't raise a child, then make a loving plan of adoption with somebody who really wants a baby and can't have one, because that's available too. Now, I will say it's not an easy process in her heart,
Sure.
but you know what? She gives that child life.
The opportunity.
Absolutely. I mean, I always love to say about Steve Jobs, Apple, right? We wouldn't have Apple if it hadn't been for Steve Jobs. He was adopted.
Right.
So, let's give those kids a chance. But you know what? We're going to love you through all of it. And so you're not alone. I think that's the best part I can tell you is you are not alone. There's pregnancy resource centers that will just love you. They'll help you through the entire process. So go there. Don't just take Planned Parenthood's opinion. Get a second opinion.
Well, we have Showers of Grace. We have Turning Point. We have CareNet, all in Las Cruces, folks.
Yes.
They are there to help.
Yes.
They are there financially, they are there emotionally, they are spiritually. So use the resources. And like Ethel says, you are not alone.
You're not.
So, okay, what do you tell a woman that has had an abortion?
There's restoration and healing. Yeah. I just want you to know that you're forgiven already. You just need to just go and receive it. Right. And it'll change your life forever. It did mine. I've been free now 6 years. Yeah, and it changed. I'm telling you, so much so that my boss said she would stand there and look across the room at me. She says, "I just can't believe the difference in you." I hadn't watched an entire movie in 37 years, Dave.
Whoa.
I was busy.
So busy to keep away from your feelings.
Right. And I'll tell you this, you can see it on another person. I had a few ladies, because I gave my testimony at church, and one of them, if you think I talk, she talked a lot. And she went through it's called Morning to Joy there at CareNet. I know that Project Defending Life, they have one there. Rachel's Vineyard, it's called.
Oh, yeah.
So they have other ones, different
Yes.
ones. So, but I went through ours, and she also went through the program. And one day I saw her at church in the evening, and I looked at her and I thought, man, she's either tired or she's at peace. And just as I was thinking, I didn't even get it out, and she looked right at me. She says, "Ethel," she says, "I just want to tell you," she says, "I finally have peace."
Wow.
And I was like, wow.
That's forgiveness.
You can see it. You can see it on a person's face. And this is not about judgment. You know what?
No.
It was a mistake.
We forgive.
Yes.
God forgives.
Yes.
The hard part is forgiving yourself.
Right.
But the opportunity is there.
Right. And you know what? It's not even your job to forgive yourself. Did you know that?
No.
All your job is to receive that forgiveness.
I like that.
Yeah. Your job is not to forgive yourself. For one, we can't.
No.
We couldn't pay that price. Right?
No.
Only God can forgive. So just receive. It's like, here, take this. Take this. And just take it. Just take the forgiveness that God has already provided for you.
Ethel, I'm sorry that we're running out of time here,
know.
but I would suggest everyone see the movie Unplanned when you
Yes.
get the chance. Abby Johnson's book, and Ethel Maharg, the executive director of Right to Life Committee, New Mexico.
Yes.
So Ethel, so much. I really appreciate you being here. Thank you so much. I hope you folks have listened to the real life story of Ethel Maharg. And next week, I don't know what we're going to have, but it'll be good. So, and Ethel, I'd love to have you back on again.
I'd love to come back.
Okay, thank you. Okay, folks, see you next week.